Well, greetings, Edwardsians. Welcome back to the geekiest website on the interweb. This is yours truly, Pastor Matt here, coming to you from edwardstudies.com, where we are devoted to the life, the ministry, the teachings, the philosophy of the great Puritan preacher, Jonathan Edwards. Well, today, in our brief episode, I want to introduce two books that have recently come out, and these are academic works, but I think they might be worth your time to study and perhaps to give a read to. The first one is called Finding God in Solitude, the Personal Piety of Jonathan Edwards and its Influence on His Pastoral Ministry. Now, if you read the website, edwardstudies.com, you probably already know that we did an interview with the author of this book, Don Whitney. You probably know him from Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Don Whitney's specialty is in the spiritual disciplines, and in this great book, published by Peter Lang, Whitney explores the devotional life or the personal piety of Jonathan Edwards. And he looks at all of the ways that it was Edwards's deep devotion to the spiritual disciplines, to prayer, to Bible study, to fasting, to walking alone in the wilderness to seek the comfort of God. All of these things which impacted Edwards's ministry for the better. So if you're interested, read the author interview that we already have posted on edwardstudies.com. And then perhaps you might want to check out this hardback edition of the book, Finding God in Solitude by Don Whitney. Now here's the second one. Now this one is interesting. I don't know what to make of this yet because I haven't read it. But this one is called The Rhetoric of the Revival, the Language of the Great Awakening Preachers. And the author of this, and forgive me if I butcher this name, is Michal Choinski or Choinski. I apologize again for saying your name so wrongly. Michal teaches American literature at the Institute of English Studies in Krakow, Poland. And what's pretty cool about this monograph here is that this is going to be volume 1 of the Jonathan Edwards Center at University's new series, New Directions in Jonathan Edwards Studies. So here it is, volume 1. And what the author is attempting to do, or so I think, since I haven't read it yet, is to examine the rhetorical language of the great revival preachers, to see how they used rhetoric in their sermon and their preachings, under the sovereignty of God, of course, but they used rhetorical language in order to further the great events of the Great Awakening, 1739 to 1742. And Edwards is certainly one of the great rhetoricians or orators of the Great Awakening. And the author here has a couple of chapters analyzing Edwards' works. But as I look through the table of contents here, Edwards is not the only great preacher that's considered. Also George Whitefield, Gilbert Tennant, and a couple of others, their language is considered as to how it affected the great revivals. So be sure to check these out. This is published by V&R. It's a German publisher, V&R Academic. If you want to get a hold of this one, would love for you to consider doing that. Hopefully we can get an interview of the author up on Edwards Studies soon enough, and probably a review of the book forthcoming as well. Well, hey, before we close out this brief episode, I did want to mention this. edwardstudies.com is working together with the JE Society to put together a published collection of essays. And thank goodness we've already had a number of brilliant contributions to the forthcoming volume of essays we're going to publish. edwardstudies.com in conjunction with the JE Society. So if you have an essay that you think might bear interest to the larger Edwards community, hey, send it to me. I get to be the general editor of this thing, and you can email me directly at jonathanedwardsstudies@gmail.com. All right? jonathanedwardsstudies@gmail.com. Or you can email me personally, pastoreverhard@gmail.com, and hopefully, who knows, maybe you'll get an essay published in the forthcoming volume of Jonathan Edwards related essays as well. Okay, well, that's all I've got for you today. Hey, don't forget, the glasses are real, the beard is real too. This is the geekiest website on the interweb, all about Jonathan Edwards. Catch you next time.